Otaku Octagon.
What's
Welcome
up?
back
What's up,
to
family?
another beautiful episode. As you tell, I'm on vacation. Um,
Shirt on
recording
low,
live
shirt.
recording live from Waikiki is the Otaku Octagon. Um, so today we are actually going to be doing another arc review. So if you remember last time for our loyal subscribers, we did a Naruto review arc a couple episodes before. If
Yeah.
you haven't checked out the Naruto review arc, go check that out. We're doing we're doing review arcs of big shows, so things that are big three, any big shonen shows, Naruto, Bleach, One Piece. We're doing Hunter today. So spoiler alert, we're doing Hunter things like that. So we're gonna be reviewing the arc, and we got a little surprise at the end that we're gonna also add on to this review arc, because honestly there's not a lot of arcs in the anime for Hunter. But first, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, ring the notification bell down below so you don't miss out on any of our future episodes. If you like these arc reviews, let us know down in the comments. Let us know if we put something at a D and you're like, you guys suck and that's an ass take. Let us know. Help out the algorithm. Like and subscribe.
Please, spare my feelings. Don't tell me I
Yeah,
sucked.
no, hurt his feelings. He will be okay, I promise. But first, we're gonna get into our news like we always do. Uh, I don't know why I put this as the first news. So truck drivers are now blaming isekais for giving trucks a bad name.
Yeah.
I
I
feel
mean,
like, you know where I think this news came from? I think one truck driver that likes anime probably just said it to somebody and they just ran with it. They just took a story, put it up
I
on the
mean, to
news.
be fair, have you seen a lot of these isekais? Like, I feel like I read a news article at some point of somebody actually doing this in our real world, trying to jump in front of a
Oh
truck
yeah,
and getting themselves
there have been
killed.
multiple people
I
that have
mean,
done that.
this is real. I'm like, yeah, it's
But
funny to
here,
us, but
here's the thing: how do you know they're not isekai? Yeah, exactly.
we don't know that.
Exactly. You
Don't
don't.
don't knock
You
it till
don't.
you try it. I
And
guess.
until we, yeah, until don't kids, please don't try this.
Please don't try
Please
it.
don't. Wait, disclaimer. Wait,
we,
wait,
we
wait,
don't.
wait. Disclaimer. Disclaimer.
Wait.
Do not try this at home. We'll get copyright banned from YouTube. Let's not do that. All right.
Oh
But
no.
hey,
Hey, they got a reason to
truck
be upset.
truck coon out here. You know what I'm saying? That's the main ops of every isekai
Running around
is
like
truck coon.
Jeepers Creepers, knocking
Is it
people
the
off the
ops
map.
though? Because when they get isekai, most of them get broken powers. Is it the ops, or is Truck-kun
I
helping?
mean, you can get Konosuba as well.
That's fair. I always remember that meme that they always put up on TikTok or Instagram Reels where it's just like, this is how my day usually goes, and it's the girl like, all right, bye everyone, and she's in the house, she's like, I'm off to school, and then she like runs out of the anime, she runs out of her house and immediately steps in the street, and it's like Monday, just fucking runs her over.
I mean, oh
like,
shit.
like, oh well, yeah, I
No,
guess
I
that's
saw
that's
that one.
fair.
That was hilarious. I think that was from High School of the Dead, I believe.
Is it high school then? Mm. All right, so the next one we got is McDonald's and Jujutsu Kaisen are doing a collab. So they're doing Jujutsu Kaisen Happy Meals. So I will be stealing all my children's Happy Meal toys. You'll see them sitting up on my shelf pretty soon. But I'm surprised JJK out here. You know what I'm saying? It's really rare when we get like an anime collab with a big name franchise. I mean, we had like the iPhone or the iPod case, the prison realm.
Yeah.
Remember, we're going
Oh,
over the
the Caseify,
AirPods.
the
Yeah,
Caseify
Caseify.
prison room.
Yeah, Caseify, AirPod, Prison Realm case or
I
whatever.
mean,
That was
the
like
world
$3
loves
million.
JJK though. Jujutsu Kaisen's taking over like fashion,
Yeah.
taking over
Oh yeah.
pop culture. Like Jujutsu Kaisen's in there. But
Yeah. I mean,
McDonald's always holds it down. McDonald's they always doing
they do.
collabs with like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Like McDonald's holds it down
Okay.
with the
That's
collabs.
how I got most of my Pokemon cards was from
From
McDonald's.
McDonald's.
I just
Oh,
stole my kids' Happy Meal.
speaking of like a promo card. I was reading about this like a week or two ago. Did you know that the that promo Mew card that you received for going to Pokemon 2000, that promo Mew card that you went to the theater. If you went to the theater,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
received a like a ancient Mew card.
Yeah. I think
That
my friend has one of
son of
those.
a bitch is worth money today.
Yeah.
If you
I
can
think
have it in good condition, like just decent condition, hundreds, maybe
I
even a
think I
thousand.
I think I remember one of my friends going to that movie and him having that, but I didn't really care. Again, I've told you before that I had all those Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Pokemon cards and binders, like a bunch of them, and I went to go move my mom down here, and they're all just in the wind. I have no idea where they are
Just lost
anymore.
in the
So
wind.
I got all my Naruto cards, but I didn't
Oh,
get any of
okay,
my
good.
yeah, I didn't get any of my Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh cards, which is a travesty. So it is what it is. I could have had that first edition Charizard, but it is what it is
Maybe
at
you'll
this
come
point.
across it.
Maybe. Frieren manga has reached 22 million copies in circulation.
Mm,
So the show's doing well, the manga's doing well. I
yeah.
mean, Frieren's on top. We should be getting a season 2 pretty soon.
I mean,
So
it's a really great story. I mean,
yeah,
I feel like the manga did good, but with the animation, what they did to that story
mm,
when it comes to animation and character
yeah,
development, like the emotion showed from the characters themselves, from the I don't know what you would call that, but in the animation, like the actual
yeah,
emotions of the characters,
yeah.
that story just uplifted even more.
I will say
I can definitely
still
agree to
didn't
that.
I still didn't finish it, unfortunately, because
Mm-hmm.
it started when I was rewatching. Remember, I
Yeah.
told you I rewatch it. Then we started in the new season. I think Solo Leveling dropped
Mm.
when I was halfway through Frieren, and I was like, this is a good show, but I'm like, oh, by the way,
Mm.
this reminds me. Sidebar to the sidebar. Um, you were 100% right. Don't get a big head about it. But reincarnated as Seventh Prince is an S rank, is an S tier anime. Oh
Hey,
my gosh.
hey, they
Yeah,
deserve
Daisy
all the
Duke Boy.
praise. Daisy
Daisy
Duke
Duke.
boy.
Yeah,
They
Daisy
ain't
Duke
go
Boy.
hard.
That's a show. That's a whole
I
show.
need
So
that season
I
two.
give you that one.
I need that season two. You
I
need
give
to
you that
finish
one.
Windbreaker still. Windbreaker's still up there as well.
Yeah, I still need to watch that one. But
Mm.
I had to binge all of Seven Prince because you
You
were
got
like,
it.
nah, when you
You
watch
got it.
this, it's an S. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna take your word for it. It's
Daisy Dukes aside,
a
it's an
Daisy Dukes.
S.
And then when he put on the dress at the end, so dress aside, it's
Dress pull
it's
to
a
the side.
it's
It's an
you know
S.
we'll talk about it later because I got some thoughts because I finally finished it, so now I got some
Mm,
damn
mm.
thoughts on it, of course.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha.
Moving on.
Oops.
So promos for the Demon Slayer movies have started in Japan. So you'll now see posters up. You'll see a bunch of promos, this dropping then. So kind of like I saw some of the pictures on Instagram, and they out there.
Money.
Yeah.
They in it. They on it.
Oh yeah.
They gonna take all
Yeah.
your little pennies, all your
Yeah.
little
Shibuya.
yens, all your little
Yeah.
USDs gone.
Yep. Oh, be like one of those clips from Instagram where like you're on your phone, they trip you and you go ting, and you do your Apple Pay and just buy a pre-sale ticket and they're like "Tenegaso." And they just wave at you.
Thank you, because you're
You're just
seeing it.
holding
I mean, you don't have a choice. You're watching the movie.
you're just holding this golden ticket for the Demon Slayer movie. Um, all right, Jujutsu Kaisen final arc is in the arc. Jujutsu Kaisen, wow, manga is in its final arc.
Mm.
So the Shinjaku Showdown is it's in its final arc.
I mean,
So
they've been there for a while though. So,
yeah, but I mean they're wrapping up.
I mean,
They're
what
wrapping
will
up.
be next anyway? I can definitely understand, of course, a wrap up arc afterwards, but like
Mm,
that being able to finally finish the whole Sukuna threats, because there's no way that it doesn't end after this. Like Sukuna has to be dealt with. All these people dying back to
yeah,
back to back, people throwing their lives at him. They
yeah.
have to finish this,
A
or he
movie.
wins.
They're probably gonna do a movie. They're probably gonna
Nah,
do a three part
I mean, yeah,
movie.
they're gonna do a movie of the manga. Of course, they're gonna do that. They have to. They have to. The whole Sukuna
Yeah,
fight
they gotta wrap it
deserves
up.
to be in a movie. But after that, either he wins or they win. And I would really love it if he won. I'm not gonna lie to you. If
Honestly,
Sukuna win in
it
the
would be a
end,
refresher. It'd be a fresh change of pace.
yeah, yeah, I'll
For him
totally
to
be
just
down
be
for
like,
that.
I win.
I win.
I win. I don't know
Remember
what to
when
tell you.
Gojo said he win? Nah, I won.
Nah, I win.
Yo,
Gojo
that'd be fire.
goes over to the dark side. He's like, fuck it. All right. Like, I win. Um, Last but not least, a Minecraft player. I
Hmm.
don't like Minecraft, but a Minecraft player created the entire Infinity Castle in
Hmm.
Minecraft, and the video of it is super dope because it shows him like walking around, and he does the whole scene where it's like ding, and then he drops into the Infinity Castle, and it's the whole Infinity Castle with his Minecraft character falling through
Mm.
it, and then he can actually go from platform to platform. It's actually some of these like I've never been really big into Minecraft, but some of the YouTubes I've seen of what people have created in Minecraft is beyond me. And these people put thousands and thousands of hours into this shit.
I've never not had enough time in the day to
No,
sit there
never.
for hours, days, week, month, years
You gotta
putting
be
this shit
like
together.
you got to be like a $1 million Tim the Tatman streamer to like sit there and be able to just create this world. But then you got your stream blown up at you, and like this
There's
is
no
like who?
way he's done it in just a week because that just came out like a week ago. There's no way he finished that in
I
1 week.
mean, he could have done it from the manga.
Yeah, if
I
he did,
mean,
look, I would believe he did it from the manga. Boy, he's been working on it for months.
yeah, working on it for a while. But these people, I've seen they have tournaments where people build things from movies and shows in Minecraft, and people build it fast. And also, they have people help them. So like, there's legit teams, and I've seen. I was deep diving on YouTube like a long time ago, and they legit have teams of people in Minecraft that build castles, worlds. They build whole entire like things from anime, Infinity Castle. So it wasn't just him. It was like him and like 10 other dudes in
So
Discord
this is like something
building.
that he does, though.
Yeah, he like builds mocks, kind of like Lego mocks. We were
Okay,
talking about
this
that the
isn't
other
like
day.
just some random guy just one day saw Demon Slayer's like,
Now,
I want to build that and
well,
just
here's
builds
the
it.
thing. I don't know who the guy is that built it, but I'm from what I've seen, I'm assuming
People
he's
do
a guy
this.
with a team because
Yeah.
people do this. They do have teams that they build mocks of other worlds and other planets and other shows and animes, and they do that all the time. So I think one of the last ones I watched on YouTube was the world from Avatar with the floating rocks and the like the floating islands
Yeah.
with all the shit from Avatar, the actual movie, the blue people. They built like a whole world of Avatar, and it was him and like 10 other guys that well, the girls too, but there was like 10 other people, and they built that whole thing in like 2 months, something like that. It took them like 2 months to build.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they get on a couple hours a day a piece. They have shifts. They do shift work.
I mean,
You
they
got.
probably do. They probably do, and
I
I'm
don't
sure they
think.
make money from it too.
I don't think I've trusted some, especially with that. I don't think I've trusted 10 people that much in my entire life. like,
Really?
like, yeah,
Says the guy
I don't.
who deployed with a
Well,
bunch of other people and had to protect his life.
it's yeah. Well, that
Damn.
that I guess.
Damn.
I ain't like. I ain't like.
4K.
I ain't like half of them, but I
4K
trusted them.
niggas. I ain't never trusted y'all niggas. The fuck you thought this
Yeah,
was?
yeah.
Big
What?
Maui.
Yeah, DTA. Don't trust anyone. No, I'm
Fuck
just
the
kidding.
big three.
Fuck the victory. It's just big me.
Oh no.
All right. Now, let's hop into our arc review.
Let's do it.
Arc review for Hunter x Hunter.
Hunter x Hunter.
Now, we understand. I know there's a lot of big Hunter x Hunter fans out there. There's a massive community, just like there's one for Naruto, One Piece, Bleach. All the shonen shows.
They deserve it.
So we're gonna give our best impressions, best takes on these arcs. If you don't like it, drop a comment below. Let us know. So that I mean
Be sure
that's
to like and
it's
subscribe.
perfectly acceptable. Now, in the anime, full disclaimer, in the anime, there's only 7 arcs, right? And it ends on the 13th Hunter Chairman election arc. However, in the manga, there is the Dark Continent Expedition arc. We are not going to be covering the Dark Continent Expedition arc because a majority of people on the planet who have watched Hunter x Hunter don't know about that arc yet. And we give spoilers, but we don't do it deliberately. We always do a disclaimer. We do it in a separate episode, especially when we talked about the Demon Slayer stuff. So we don't like to
Spoiler
give
gang.
out
I don't know what
spoilers
you're
like
talking
that.
about.
I mean, we're spoiler gang, but like at the same time, we're not just gonna roll into a spoiler. You know what I'm saying? So we're not gonna be talking about the Dark Continent Expedition arc, but we are gonna talk about the 7 arcs leading up to Gon being saved, and we're gonna rank them just like we do anything. Our mid-tier review, mid-season review, beginning our end-season review. We're gonna rank these arcs and see where it goes. So the first one we have up is the Hunter exam arc. Now, the Hunter exam arc, for a brief synopsis, the Hunter exam arc is when we finally meet Gon. We meet Gon on his home island. This is the start of Hunter x Hunter, right? We meet Gon. He's a big fisherman, and he wants to become a hunter just like his dad, so he can end up going out to find his dad. Father of the Year award goes to Jing Freaks for leaving his kid and say, fuck you, I'm following my dream. But we finally meet Gon, and we get going off to join the hunter's exam, getting the directions to go to the hunter's exam, having to go this all cockamamie roundabout way to get to the hunter's exam, and we meet all of our main characters. So we meet Gon, Killua, Kurapika, and we meet Leorio. And to start off the hunter's exam, like the actual hunter's exam, we got my least favorite part in all of Hunter x Hunter running like 10,000 miles. So that was probably one of the worst ones. Now, leading into the hunter's exam, obviously, we got to talk about the elephant in the room, the fat motherfucker that always trying to poison motherfuckers.
This little bitch. Uh-huh.
Yeah, fucking always trying to sabotage people's shit. But we do get them running. We do get them to get in the final stage where they end up getting onto the battlefield and fighting each other. I believe this is when we find out about Illumi. We find out who Illumi is with the dude with the pins in his face during the hunter's exam. Um, we also get our resident pedophile. I mean, resident guy Hisoka. You know, always after
I'm not with you on that
going
one. Go.
Goins and
Do,
Kilo's
do your
cheeks.
thing.
No,
Do your thing.
no. Okay. Um, but we get to the whole hunter's exam. Pretty much, this is the exam where they end up going through multiple stages of the exam. They get to the final bit. We get Killua is obviously under control or mind control. Not necessarily mind control, but he's brainwashed by his brother. Ends up killing an opponent he's not supposed to kill, and ends up not being able to pass the hunter's exam. So Gon confronts Illumi, asks him where Killua went, pretty much breaks this dude's wrist, but Illumi's like just a mentally insane robot, so it doesn't really face him that much. And that's kind of where we end off in the hunter's exam arc.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, I'm a for me,
Trying
and
to
you
be
give
fair.
your
Look
take
at
on.
you. You're trying to be fair.
Yeah.
Just go ahead.
No, I'm not. I'm not trying to be fair. I'm trying to because when we were talking about Naruto, I gave the first arc an S because it was very nostalgic, right? You know what I'm saying? Like it was like really like balls to the wall. But
Mm-hmm.
this one was kind of like it took me when I first started watching Hunter x Hunter. It took me multiple attempts to get through the Hunter exam arc.
Mm-hmm.
It took me multiple attempts, and I finally got through it, and then got to the juicy bits. This is to get where we're going. This is a B to me. It's a B. It's not it's not a C because it's not bad, and it's not a D because it's not really bad, but it's not an A. It's definitely not an A. So it's like average. Like it's like, because it did. It took me multiple attempts to get through the hunter exam.
Yeah.
So, and to be fair, I couldn't get through the first half of the hunter exam, but then at the end of it, it started getting better when they started fighting and they started, everything like that. So it's a B. It's a B. On it for me, it's a B.
I got you. I got you. I honestly, during your whole thing, I was trying to decide between A and B. Originally, I was at B. At some points, I got to an A, but then, of
Yeah.
course, I fell back to a B. Yeah, this one is, of course, it's an introductory. You know, you get introduced
So it's
to
boring.
most of the characters, but I agree
Yeah.
with you. It took me multiple tries just to get through this arc. Once I got through this arc, it was easier. Obviously, it
Hmm.
picked up and it was much
Yeah.
easier to watch the show. It took so many tries. I was constantly watching over because I wanted to
Yeah.
actually watch the episodes. But
Yeah.
once we finally got to the actual everyone fighting in the
Yeah.
arena,
It
past
got
I think,
better.
I think the moment I really paid attention was, of course, when Keela was snatch old dude's heart out of his chest.
Yeah.
From that
Put it
point
in the
on,
plastic bag.
I was locked in. Like, hey, hold
Yeah.
up, wait, what you doing
Yeah.
over here? Who is this guy? This white haired
Kilo
kid?
pulled out. Yeah.
I
He
mean, like,
pulled out the lunch sack,
I
the
remember
brown
them
paper
like
bag.
running through the thing. Like that was hella boring. But like Kilo was
Yeah.
cool. Like he was riding on his skateboard. He was like, "Oh, bet I'm gonna run with you then. Since you running,
Yeah.
I'm gonna run too." Like it had moments in the beginning, but
Yeah.
in the beginning it was just so like, okay,
It's
this
boring.
this is a story. It was boring. But to be fair to it, we are comparing it to most of these newer animes that are a lot more high paced in the beginning. The original
Yeah.
Hunter x Hunter came out like early well,
Yeah.
late '90s. I would say late '90s
Late
when the
90s, early
original Hunter x
2000s.
Hunter came
Yeah.
out. So it was one of those longer stories. It was Dragon Ball. It was One Piece in
Yeah.
the beginning. It was a long. It was a
Yeah.
lot of introductories.
It was a process.
It was a process to get to the juicier bits.
Yeah.
So to be fair to it, yes, but again, it is what it is. I'm putting
It's
it
a
as a
B.
B.
It's an absolute B
It's
to
all
me.
right.
Hey, comments. Put them down there.
It is
Put
what
them
it
down there.
is.
So the next one we have is not arguably, in my opinion, my favorite arc out of the entire Hunter x Hunter series, and that's the Zoldyck family arc. So,
Mm.
breaking off of from what we talked about from Hunter x Hunter, we get that Killua ends up losing, or not losing, but he ends up failing the Hunter exam. This is where Gon, Kurapika, and Leorio go to the Zoldyck family mansion to go get Killua back and tell him to retake the Hunter's exam. And we get some of the best, I mean, some of the best, not really storytelling. This is kind of a side quest if you really think about it, because it's trying to just go grab Killua and bring him back. But we
Mm.
get some of the best, you know, just storytelling, fighting, just like level by level that we got in it. So we pretty much get to the first. I mean, the first part of the Zoldyck family is one finding out where he is. They finally find out where he is, and then they get to the testing gate. Now, the testing gate is a gate that sits outside of their residence or their property, to where that's the only way you can enter through anywhere, which is hilarious to me. Is like they don't have any security because there is a demon wolf dog named Mike that sits on their property, that if you enter any other way onto their property except for the gate, you get eaten. Like you
Mm.
die. So like people, like there's a whole security guard out front that like doesn't stop people from climbing the fence. He's like, okay, like I don't give a shit, you know what I'm saying? And like and he eats them. So the testing gate itself is made up of, I think, 5 doors, and the small, it's like small, bigger, 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 and they're all different weight capacities. So the smallest one's like 4 tons. Then there's like 10 tons, 16 tons, 15 tons, 20 tons, and you pretty much have to test your strength. And the only way you can get through it is by being strong enough to go through those doors. Well, it says there was something that said that Killua, before he learned Nen, could push up to, I believe, 16 tons. It was the 10 or 16. It was one of the double digit tons that he could push. Well, Gon is there. He's like, they can't open the door. They can't open not a single door. And they end up getting the backstory from the security guard, everything like that. And then so for, I think it's like 2 weeks or something like that, Gon, Kurapika, and Leorio end up training to push open the door. They train with heavy equipment, heavy machinery, and they end up being able to open up the 4 ton door, which is the smallest door. So good enough. They got through the gate. We end up getting the kind of like, while this is going on, Killua is in the mansion tied up by his brother, um, and they're like he's torturing him with electricity, like motherfucker, this motherfucker's well, not yet because he doesn't learn Nen yet, but his element we find out later is electricity, so it doesn't really do anything to him because he's been tortured by it so much. And we get one of the funniest moments is his brother torturing him, and then I think his grandpa walks in. He's like, "All right, that's enough," and he's like, "I'm done." He's like, "Yeah," and Kilo just breaks out of the chains. And he's like, "Ah, oh, that was a good workout." You know what I'm saying?
It was nothing. He was so
Yeah,
used to it.
this yeah, it was a good workout. And then we start getting introduced to Kilo's brothers, his other brother, his grandpa. We get introduced to his dad. So Killua ends up going off to his dad to sit down and have a conversation with him, talking about who he met, his new friend, him saying, like, if this is really what you want to do, if you really want to go to the hunter's exam or you really want to be friends with this guy, make sure that you would kill and die for him and stand up for him. We get like a good father-son moment out of Killua and his dad. We end up finding out his mom is for the streets. Like she's just not there mentally. She don't like none of them kids. I think she was trapped, honestly. She don't like none of them kids.
Mm.
But we get pretty much the introduction while Gon, Kurapika, and Leorio are transitioning through the forest. Once they get to the forest, we end up meeting a character that isn't well known, but Killua's younger brother. Killua's younger brother that ends up becoming a spider after Hisoka leaves the Phantom Troop. He pretty much warns them. He's standing off in the woods, all Sherlock Holmes suspicious like, and he pretty much tells Killua and Gon, or not Killua, Gon and them, like, yo, on gang, that's probably not the best idea for you to come up here. And he's just like, oh, we're just here for Killua. Like, we're gonna, like, he's my best friend. I can't just leave him. And he's like, all right, all right, if you want to go there.
Mm.
And then we start getting into the trials of the butlers. So each butler that works for the Zoldycks are all damn near assassins in their own right. Essentially, they're like some of the best fighters or whatever. And what's great about this story is that this is before Gon and Killua and them learn Nen at all. So they're getting into these hardcore fights and they don't know Nen. They don't know anything. You know what I'm saying? So we end up getting him fighting the girl. He fights the girl at the gate, at the first kind of gate entrance, because they're told by the main house of butlers to stop Gon. Do not let Gon come here, because I believe it was his mother, right, that gave the order. Kilo's mom was the one that said,
Yeah, she was the
"Stop
bitch who was
going."
trying to stop them from even meeting in the first
Yeah,
place.
yeah. So he pretty much told all the butlers to stop going from going forward. So we get going. Pretty much, he fights the girl. He moves on. He ends up going to the actual butler's house where they try to pretty much they get into like a fight with them, but then they test Gon. I believe with the coin thing where he like flies it back and forth and tries to
Yeah.
figure out where the coin is or whatever. So we get a bunch of butler tests for Gon to figure out if he's a good if he can be Killua's friend, if he's strong enough, if you will. And then Killua ends up finding out that he's been trying to reach Gon this entire time, but they've been blocking him, and so Killua gets super pissed off. Ends up going to meet Gon, and Gon talks him into retaking the hunter's exam again. Talks him into going back, retaking the hunter's exam. It doesn't show it. It's just Killua passing it because obviously he can fucking pass the hunter's exam with ease. There is no question in our mind. And so he passes the hunter's exam, and that's really much the Zoldyck family arc. Um, this this was my favorite arc, my absolute favorite arc.
I could tell.
Yeah.
The
So
man remembered
it's the
everything
most
about that arc.
it's the most memorable arc to me. So I think probably out of all the arcs besides the Chimera Ant arc, because it was that obviously was peak for Hunter x Hunter. Um, this is S. This is a S to me. This is a S arc to me. Maybe a low S, but definitely an S because it's cool. And Killua's I got a tattoo of Killua. Like Killua and his old. It's like these are like the Uchiha of Hunter x Hunter to me. You know what I'm saying? And I love Uchihas. So this is like for me it's an S tier.
Yeah, I do really love this arc. S, even low S, maybe. Let's think about it. The family, obviously, they're all very interesting. The fat
Yep.
older brother, he has his quirks. Even though he may not be assassin physically, like he
Yeah.
has his ways to him. Obviously, we start to see his ways as we move into the future arcs.
Yeah.
Obviously, we learn a little bit more about his elder brother, the one Illumi, who likes to fuck with him.
Illumi. Yeah.
He likes to fuck with them hard. I think one of the highlights of that, outside of what was going on with Gon and the rest of the boys,
Hmm.
was when the father basically shut down the mom and was like, no,
Yeah. Yeah.
just shut up. He's going to
Yeah.
go with him. This is what's happening.
Hmm.
And that was like one of the first times like the father actually spoke up. Like he would like say something from here and there, but then he finally put his foot down and was like, this is what's going to happen. And
Killua stood up to him
I
for
think,
the
isn't he
first
like the
for like the
leader?
first. Yeah, the dad is the leader of the family.
Yeah, like he was like
Because
a silent leader.
the grandfather stood down, and the father took over. But Gon is never, or Kilo has never been able to stand up to his dad. But about Gon, he stood up to his dad, and so his dad was like, obviously, this really means a lot to him. So shut your mouth. My son is gonna go with his friend. You will always have a place here if you ever want to come back. This and that. So I honestly like, especially being a dad with boys, like that's a good father moment. That's a good like
Yeah.
more emotional moment that we get. One of the first emotional moments we get in Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good highlight moment for him. And he doesn't have a lot of moments in the
Hmm.
anime, so that for him that
Yeah.
was like one of his biggest highlights. So I would say definitely definitely a high A, low S. Off the fact that this is probably one of your favorite arcs, I'm willing to give you the low S. Just know everything that's going to be S will be above this one. It
There's
was
only one
it was
other thing I think.
it was really good because the fact that Gon, it showed the fact that Gon was powerful even
Yeah.
before the net, how
Before
powerful he
then.
was. He
Yep.
had to prove to an assassin, like the strongest assassin family, obviously in Hunter x Hunter, because the grandfather is like the most powerful outside of
Yeah.
Netero himself. So he had to prove to this family, like, hey, I'm strong enough to be your boy's friend. So
Yeah.
it was a pretty respectable arc, and
Yeah.
obviously solidified the friendship between Gon and Killua. So I'm willing to
I
put it
give it
low S.
low S. Low S.
Low S. What was your last one?
Nah.
Put it. We're gonna put it in the maybe, the
Nah.
possible
Nah.
S,
Nah.
halfway S.
It's a
It
S.
was a
It's
pretty
a
good one.
S.
I give you it.
Okay, so the next one we got, which I'm kind of on the fence about, and I've been thinking about these, right?
What's that?
Is the Heaven's Arena arc. So Heaven's Arena arc is finally where we get to the point where Gon and Killua are hunters, and they want to start making some money. They want to make some money. I believe this is the whole. Um, they wanna make money to start traveling because they have to they can't you can't do anything as a hunter. Like you get a lot of I get my 100% disability card. That doesn't mean I make cash off of it. Like I got to
Mm.
use it for the for the features that it gives me. So they essentially go to the Heavens Arena, which is the battle arena arc, which is pretty much hunters from around the world are fighting in an arena to make it up to, I believe, level 100 or floor 100.
Mm.
To get it when they get up to floor 100, that's when they do their final fight, and you win like it's like $500,000 or something.
Oh yeah, I think also Gon heard from someone, or maybe Hisoka told him himself that he was going to be at the Heavens Arena. So that was
Yeah,
another reason why they decided to go there too.
yeah. And then we finally get our first what's it called? Our first glimpse into spiritual pressure when Killua and Gon go into the Heavens Arena to go get their room, to go to their hotel room,
Mm-hmm.
and Hisoka's sitting at the end of the hallway and just exudes malice and
Mm.
like what's it called? Uh, what's it when they call it when they have like murderous intent. He exudes murderous intent
Yeah,
off of his body, which
yeah.
is his nen, and it stops them in their tracks. And they're like, "What is this? What is the spiritual pressure I'm feeling?" Like, you know what I'm saying? And they're just like, "What is this? I don't understand."
Mm.
But we get them; they are fighting their way through the floors and beating most of the people that they're fighting. And the whole
No,
idea is
then.
for going to fight Hisoka, but he doesn't. He knows that there's something extra that he needs to do it, and then they end up finding out what nen is,
Mm.
and they end up going to, and I forget his name. My apologies, but they end up going to their teacher, which the with the one karate kid, pretty much with the one karate kid who is learning to use nen himself, who's also in the battles arena,
Mm.
and they pretty much he teaches them about nen, what nen is, and they go through their tests to find out what type of nen that they have. Um, at this point, Gon and Killua learn that they have two different types of nen, and they end up training for it. They train, they train, they train, they train. The guys like these guys are never really gonna understand it. It takes years to practice, but they obviously main characters. They master it almost pretty much almost immediately. Not master, but they shoot well above many people who just started learning nen in that instance. And then we get the Hisoka and Gon fight.
Mm-hmm.
So we get Hisoka and Gon end up getting into a fight. Hisoka uses his bungee gum, on
What you say?
what
I
what
heard gum both times. What?
go, Gon. We get Hisoka using his bungee gum, end up finding out what his nen abilities are,
Mm.
and obviously, our boy Gon fails. Like he loses. But he does land a hit or two on Hisoka, and Hisoka is very surprised, and this is
Mm.
what starts Hisoka's infatuation even more, stokes the fire in his heart
In his
for
heart.
Gon, and his yeah, and
You
his
stuttered there in his heart.
and his grunt. I
I
mean
think
his
he
heart.
passed like his little test too. Like he said, I won't give you your little placard thing back, or you can't give
Yeah,
me my placard thing back until you land a solid hit on me. So the fact that he was
yeah.
able to land that solid hit, he was able
Oh, it
to.
was his circle thing.
Yeah, with his
Yeah,
number
yeah,
on
yeah.
it from the
Yeah.
tuning exams.
From the tuning exams,
Everybody
pretty
got a
much.
tuning exams.
But it's the whole battle arena style thing, and I like battle arena style animes. I think they're pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
This one for me is definitely it's a high A. So it's a high A because we get the whole Nen explanation. We get
Mm-hmm.
now, thank God it's not the manga because the X Men we'd have had pages of paragraphs and shit.
I
But
mean, we got
uh,
pages of just
yeah,
dialogue too. Like the
there
dialogue
was
was
there
crazy.
was a there was like looking at the manga, and I know we're not really talking about manga because we're not doing the Continent arc, but um, we definitely did miss a lot of information.
Mm.
So there was a lot of information that was taken, and so I kind of have to give that into its credit because there's a lot of information we did not get about Nen and how Nen worked and things like that. It was very wave toppy for what Nen is
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be.
Yeah,
Um,
we
but
can take that
but
into account.
this is a high A for me because I think learning about Nen and everything that was actually pretty cool. Because I didn't know about it. Like I didn't read the manga until, or like look at panels or read manga until after I watched the show.
Mm-hmm.
So it was all brand new to me. So
Yeah,
it's a high A.
it definitely took me caught me by surprise. Nen is probably one of the most impressive power systems
It is.
in of
Yep.
all of and manga.
Yeah.
So the fact that this arc established that power system, that continue to be built upon to be even greater.
Yeah.
It just established the basics of the power system. It showed the basics of how Killua and Gon essentially have the
Yeah.
main character syndrome, where they obviously can excel past
Yeah.
everyone. I think the little boy was
Wait,
training for like 2 years or something
yeah.
already, and they mastered it in like a
Yeah.
week or two.
Which something I skipped, but they don't talk about it until the next arc, is that at the same time, Kurapika and Leorio were also learning Nen.
Mm,
So at the same time, while Gon and Kilo were learning Nen, so was Kurapika and Leorio. We
mm,
just didn't know about it until the next arc.
yeah.
So we got Kurapika pretty much doing the condition on his heart,
Mm,
pretty much that he won't use his Nen abilities unless it's somebody a spider, essentially. That if it's anybody except for a spider, he'll die.
mm.
I think Leorio was learning it, and then he just decided to become a doctor instead, or something like that. I can't like
Make,
he was learning it. It
hey,
was
we
just
gotta
like I
make
can't.
money. He's trying. He's
Yeah,
the only reason why he's there is to make money. But
he really is.
High A is this is a pretty good arc. I would
It
say
is.
it's a really good arc because it establishes the system. It establishes
Yep.
once again it continues to build upon that friendship and even
Yeah.
some rivalry. Killua like, wow, you're even better than me. Like they had a
Hmm.
little rivalry in there, and Hisoka's
Yeah.
definitely one of my favorite characters. So this arc highlighted him and who he was as a character and how much surpassed everyone, even in Gon's shining moment of I can do this, I can beat him. Hisoka still beat his ass and say you're still
Hmm.
not strong enough, but hey, you were still able to do something with me. So I think this is a really good arc. I would even say that it can possibly even be an S. I want to say with this arc tier, we are tiering it against just the arcs of this show, not
No, no.
other shows
Yeah,
as
no.
well. When it comes to the arcs of this show, I would arguably say that this can possibly be, well, definitely a high A, but possibly even move to an S for all of the arcs.
Here's the thing though, like including all the arcs, I liked the Zoldyck family arc more than this one though.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So if we're giving it an S, it's for me it's below Zoldyck family because
Mm-hmm.
I think Zoldyck family is just like just a really cool arc. Now, yes, in the aspect of establishing the world and establishing the power system, establishing that there are other hunters out here that they're a league above us.
Mm-hmm.
Like we thought we were strong, but these niggas know everything. Like these motherfuckers have a whole they have
Well,
magical
and
powers.
it became full hunters because we ended up finding out there was a secret part of the test
Yeah,
to become a full hunter, and learning Nin
yeah,
was the final step. So
yeah.
I'm willing to put it below
I'll put it below. I'll
to
put
be
it
an S.
below Zoldyck family. Yeah, I'll put it below Zoldyck
Willing.
family.
Okay.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Now the next one we have is the York New arc. So this arc is where we finally get introduced to the spiders. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is one about us getting introduced to the Akatsuki. I mean the spiders. And their whole main goal is to ruin this um auction. There's like a big auction going on, but I also think if
Mm,
I remember for Greed Island, they're also after that little video game.
yeah.
They're after like the copy of the Greed Island video game where apparently there's a power in it or there's something about it that you need Nen to
Mm-hmm.
use it and get in it, but they don't really know much about it except for Crollo, but he keeps that secret to
You
himself.
got to
But
get
we
the
find
little
the SIM
thing.
card. Yeah.
Yeah, because you got to beat the game. And if you beat the game, then you're able to take one of the SIM card things out of the game and use it in the
Yeah.
real world. So I think that's what
Yeah,
they
it's
were
like
after.
you can use yeah, you can use like a it's like I thought it was like get a wish or something. Maybe I'm mistaken.
Yeah, like
But
you
it's like
get
you
to
can
choose one of the powers systems in the
yeah.
game and use it.
Yeah, and so they're after that. So they're essentially they do their Akatsuki raid arc,
Mm-hmm.
where they pretty much raid the York New auction. Killua and Gon are at that auction. They're going to that auction because they also heard about Greed Island,
Mm.
and there's a tip that Jing, Killua or Gon's father is in Greed Island, like he's there in the video game. I just love the fact that Killua just be going along. He just be going with the flow. He just like I don't care where are we going. Tight. All right, cool.
Whatever you
I'm
need me to
here.
do, I'm there. I mean, he's
He's
the
he's the
best friend of best
Sasuke
friends.
that Naruto needed.
Yeah, he's the one he needed.
But Kurapika is the Sasuke of this story. And getting to Kurapika,
Mm-hmm.
Kurapika ends up finding out that the spiders are in town, and the spiders are the main ones that we find out are also stealing because there's like contracts, like there's billionaires that are out there that are putting out contracts for certain things to auction off at this auction, and one of those things is Scarlet Eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Scarlet Eyes, or Sharingan, if you will, essentially is Kurapika's bloodline in his eyes, and people have been killing his clan to take the eyes because it's a hot commodity amongst billionaires. They like to collect things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking weird, but they want to collect those. They want to do their Donzo thing. So Kurapika ends up finding out that there are Scarlet Eyes at the auction, and he wants to buy them himself. He wants to collect them or steal them. Whatever he can do to get his clan's eyes back is what he wants to do. But we end up in this. They obviously attack York New, and they get into a massive fight out in public. And we get one of the best showdowns in all of history. Kurapika and his sidekick Shovel ends up going up
Sidekick.
against, which is unfortunate for me
Oh
because
no.
it's unfortunate for me because Uvogin is my favorite spider for
Mm-hmm.
obvious reasons. He's a big, muscular, hairy dude, super badass, like super strong, but he just gets disrespected. He gets so disrespected. Like we get Kurapika brought a shovel to the fight, beats his ass, and buries him. He takes this just fucking buries his
what
ass, and I'm
what
like,
are you doing? I'm burying you.
I'm burying you. What?
Why?
Why? Why?
you're,
Why?
you're a
Shut up! You'll
spider.
wake the neighbors. You'll wake the
Shut
neighbors.
up.
Um,
No.
we also get a cool fight scene from the Zoldyck family. We get grandpa and grandma. We get dad and grandpa fighting Krollo.
Mm-hmm.
So we get the Krollo fight scene between the Zoldyck heads, or the former head and the new head of the Zoldyck family. Um, we did hot takes earlier. Hot take, right?
Hot take.
To me, Krollo's like really not that negative to me. Like he's like cool, and I get that in the future in the manga Dark Continent arc, like he gets better, but like his power, like the way he's hyped up,
Mm-hmm.
I've seen other people hyped up and live up to it better in other shows.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like to me, like and full disclosure, I understand that there's almost 1% of people in this universe that could probably fight both of the Zoldyck heads and walk away from that shit. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? Like fully there. I'm fully there with you. But like his power system seemed like kind of a cop out to me of how he could survive so fast. You know what I'm saying? Like he has his grimoire. I get
Mm-hmm.
it. He has his grimoire, and he uses multiple. He's all for one essentially, and he can use other people's quirks. He can steal their powers and use them in his book. But at the time, not in the future, but at the time, he can use only one at a time.
Yeah.
And he's obviously in a chasing fight where they're just chasing his ass, and he's running the whole time and using his powers, and he survives. Don't get me wrong, he's an escape master, but like he just does. I've seen other people be him more than him be him. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And it's just I don't know. Crollo's just not that impressive to me as a villain.
I got you. I got you. Well, for me, I really like Krollo. Krollo is definitely like top five Hunter characters for me. For me, one, he's the leader of the Akatsuki troop or the Phantom
Yeah,
troop. He's the leader, and there's a reason why he's
yeah,
a leader. He's obviously got to be the strongest of them. He has to be the
yeah,
most strategic. He has to have a business mind at all times. We saw him with his moment. He's standing at the glass when he had orchestrated
yeah.
that whole thing. Like he orchestrated that. Like his intelligence has to be on a high level. Two,
I don't,
his power is he's essentially the ditto of Hunter. He can copy other people's powers, but in a world where your nin ability makes you powerful, and you got a guy who has the ability to copy your nin ability, you got a powerful
yeah.
one. Let me see it real quick. Bet it's mine now.
Yeah, I mean
Like
the
that
Nen is
makes him,
specifically coded to you, and he can still
and
take
he's
it.
stealing your shit. So he's copying everything you're doing. So you add on that
Yeah,
intelligence on the fact that he's able to copy everyone's ability and then use them at his discretion at another time. Add those two things together. It's probably why he
I
has the
just
recognition he has.
I think maybe it's also because they didn't in the anime they didn't really cover him a lot. Like they
Mm,
didn't really talk about him. They didn't really give him any. There was nothing that made us interested in him besides the cameos, the fight with the Zoldicks. He was never really around. So maybe this just the mysteriousness of
mm,
Crollo that just makes him just uninteresting
maybe.
because they're just really never talked about him. There's no like he was such a dude far removed from the universe
Mm,
that nobody really could touch him. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So I mean,
They need to animate his next fight. Like he has another
yeah,
major fight
yeah,
after
oh
the
yeah,
anime. If they animate that, people will definitely love Frollo a lot
yeah.
more than they currently
I'm
do.
Yeah, I'm all about it. Greed Island or not Greed Island, York New arc for me, it's a solid A. It's a solid A. Phantom Troop, I love the
Mm,
troops. I love the Akatsuki groups, Phantom Troop, the all the different types of villain
mm,
groups. I think they're cool. I wouldn't say. I guess that this would be another hot take. They're definitely not top three favorite villain groups of all time because they kind of got clapped kind of easily. If I'm being honest, they lose members. They lose members so fast, and they
mm,
gain new members so
yeah.
quick. Like they kind of just get clapped really easily.
Mm,
Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like for such an illustrious and elusive group, they get clapped really fast.
yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they just be losing members and just filling the ranks. Like so they're not like top three for me, but they're still a cool group. Yeah, it's definitely an A. It's like a mid A for me.
Man,
I think it's a
that's
yeah.
crazy. I have this one above.
Really,
I have this one above your arc. This one is my
really.
favorite arc. Of
This
all
your
the Hunter x Hunter arcs, and it's
I
because
can give this to you.
I love Krollo. Obviously, I love
Hmm.
the Phantom Troop. They're amazing in their own right. I love Hisoka. Hisoka
Hmm.
is, if not my favorite, number two favorite character of Hunter x Hunter. And the fact that they introduced this storyline that's going to continue on even after everything with Gon and
Yeah,
Killua finishes, they introduced the storyline of I'm out here to hunt you niggas. I'm
yeah,
here to hunt you. He
yeah,
joins them on some masquerade shit. He fills in the
yeah.
rank of I'm pretty sure he killed the person of
He
that
killed
number,
one of the
number
spiders.
four,
Yeah,
took that spot so that he can get inside of their ranks so that he can start taking them out one by one
yeah.
until
Because he
they
wants to fight the strongest
realize
people on the planet.
he wants
Yeah.
to kill them. I mean, like, he wants to fight them, but at the end of the day, he wants to kill these
He
guys.
out Orochimaru'd Orochimaru
Hey,
because that was
I don't like
Orochimaru's
where you're
plan.
going with this. I don't like you sneaky,
Look,
sneaky, you
hey,
sneaky.
hey, look,
But no, I love
if the
Hisoka what he's
tongue
doing.
fits, I mean,
That's not him. He
what?
got bungee gum. But
Yeah, Bungie, what? Bungie, huh?
bungee
Bungie, who?
gum. But no,
Oh, okay.
I actually really love this arc. Another thing about the arc is it highlights what hunters do. Like in this show, like a lot of wild things happen. But at the end of
Hmm.
the day, hunters
Yeah,
are
that's our
basically
next arc
hunters are basically just people they're hired hands. I'm
yeah
hiring you to do this. Get
to deal
information
with
on
this. Yeah,
this. Protect us from this. Bodyguards. They're
yeah,
hired hands. And this arc really
yeah,
highlighted what they do. Definitely
yeah.
everything with
I'll give you that.
like I love Killua, don't get me wrong, but Karapika and his
Yeah,
story and what he was had going on in York City outside of the fact that he bodied a Rouge or whatever overdue
yeah.
name is.
Uvo again.
Yeah, Uvo again, like outside of that, like I
Yeah,
loved his character in that whole arc, and
yeah,
honestly,
he's
that's
good.
it secured it for S arc for me. It's probably my favorite arc out of all of them.
If this is your favorite arc, I can give it an S because you gave it for the Zoldyck family.
Very well,
Can we
very
put
well.
it on top of it?
Of the
I don't
Zodi
know if I
family,
want. Let's give it. Come on, stay still.
what's
Let's
that?
put it on top.
What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to put it
Oh, you trying to put them
in
on
the
the
same
same thing?
spot.
Nah,
On the
nah.
same spot.
This
All
is
right, I'll
top,
give you
top,
that.
top, top.
I'll give you that. So here, so our next arc is
It's when we start to break up.
yeah. So it's so next arc is good, but the reason why I'm gonna give it as probably a lower tier because honestly, this was probably one of the most confusing arcs to me in all of Hunter x Hunter.
Mm,
This is the Greed Island arc.
mm,
So Gon and Kurapika, Gon and Killua finally end up getting their hands on the Greed Island video game. They end up joining a company that has that video game. They pretty much have nerve gear, and the leader of the company says he hires a bunch of hunters to go into that video game and find certain things, to pull out certain materials, things like that, to win the game essentially.
mm,
And he uh, he pretty much gives them a test, and so they join. They end up going into the video game, creating their characters. I think it's at this point is when Gon receives a message from his dad, from the authenticator, and pretty much is like finds out that his dad helped invent the game.
mm,
And then they end up going into the video game, and they end up going into this whole new world. They get isekai'd into this video game, and this is where things start getting confusing for me, honestly. I even read up on it. Obviously, I don't want to come to this episode ignorant of this if we're doing a hunter exam or a hunter arc review, but it's kind of this is kind of all over the place. Like this for me is kind of there's like they join factions, they don't join factions, they end up doing I think one of the most memorable moments in the whole thing is when he ends up going to fight the prisoners. He ends up going to the prisoners a little hideout thing, and Gon
mm.
and Killua have to do like was like dodgeball fucking like the video they have to do each like athletic. They have to do each athletic thing with them. Um,
Mm.
and then the whole idea of this, I believe, is to was it to steal? It was to steal something from other people. I forgot what it was.
Yeah, the whole thing was to steal their SIM card.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, to
the
steal it
whole
from
point
them.
of the game was to collect all of the SIM cards. Once you collect them all, you win the game.
Yeah, and so they pretty much can find out where people are. They end up getting into fights. This arc was kind of it was really confusing,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. It was not one of the best arcs. Not very memorable to me,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like it was cool, right? Like to me, this seemed like a too long of a side quest.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like it was a very long side quest
a
that I wasn't
long-winded
really.
side quest.
Another good memorable moment from Greed Island is Biscuit's training.
Yeah.
So we end up finding out who Biscuit is. Biscuit's a girl who's really good with Nen, but she's also a muscle woman. She goes into like little girl form, and then she can go into muscle girl form. But she teaches Gon and Killua how to better use their Nen or how to master it better,
Mm-hmm.
which was good. They get a little training arc. That's to me Greed Island's like their training arc. That's really the most important part
Yeah.
of this arc.
Gon learns rock paper scissors during
Hmm.
this arc.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, and yeah, Killua learns more of how to control his lightning abilities, things like that.
Mm.
Um, I want to give this a B. Um, it's like a, I don't. To me, it's because the biscuit stuff was really good. Like the biscuit training was really good.
Mm.
There was some decent fights in the actual. There were some decent showdowns in Greed Island, but I don't know if I want to give it above the Hunter exam arc because Hunter exam arc was world building, but this one was kind of just. It was kind of all over the place. I was already interested in it because I got past the Hunter exam arc,
Mm-hmm.
but it was just I was trying to understand like so why are we doing this? What's going on here? Oh,
Yeah.
you're out of the game now? Or you're back into the game now? Or you're out of the game now? Or you're back into the game now?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Um, and so it was really, I don't know. It's a B for me. So I don't. You could put it wherever you want, to be
Um,
honest.
well. Let's go ahead and rank it. I'm gonna go ahead and agree. It's a B. I'll put it as a high
Okay.
B though. I will put it above.
Okay.
Our original arc. It was less confusing for me. It so the whole point they got paid. They were trying to get the game. So the whole point. Remember the York City arc. They were trying to get that game
Yeah.
from the auction. They
Yeah.
failed to get the game,
Yeah.
but they got the chance to be a part of this mission to go inside the
Yeah.
game. I think Gon had received a message that he had to go inside the game, so he
Hmm.
was trying to get inside the game. He finally the whole point of the game was to collect these SIM cards. It was like 100 of them, different types of them, and you had to
Hmm.
use them in different ways, trick people to beat them and get their SIM card. Like it was like a whole thing. It all culminated to find out that Gon's father was a part of the team that
Yeah.
created this game. Gon's father was
Hmm.
actually like the lead. Game was the lead
Hmm.
person, and he knew in his heart that one day Gon will find his way
Hmm.
into this game and beat it. And he had a message for him at the end. Gon met all of Gang's friends who were part of the
Yeah.
development team. Like cool. I mean, like you said, this seemed like a side quest that was way too long winded. I think it
Hmm.
lasted way longer than it needed to. Biscuit was
Yeah.
cool. I don't remember a lot of her training. I do remember
Yeah.
Gon did walk away with his rock paper scissors attack. I don't know the
Yeah.
Japanese word for it. So that's cool as well.
Go Shimpo.
Yeah, it
I
was
think
it was
something like
cool for what it was, and of course I give it a B, a high B, because at the end of this arc, of course, finding out his father was responsible for it, but he beat the game. He was able to receive
that.
his little skill chip, and he
Yeah.
used that skill chip to find out. One, his father brought him into the game at one point
Yeah.
when he
Hmm.
was a baby because he had been there
Yeah.
before, and two, he was able to use it to find Kite.
Yeah.
Kite he was trying to find his father, so he went to
Yeah.
the oldest possible
Because didn't
person he met,
Well, Kite
and it
used
was Kite.
his name. Kite used his father's
Mm-hmm.
username
Mm-hmm.
in the thing, so he thought that was his
Yeah,
dad.
he thought his
But it,
father brought him into the game. I was actually
yeah,
wrong about it. His Kite was the one who brought him into the game. So
yeah,
when he used it, we end up meeting Kite. So that's why
yeah,
I give it a B. Like it was really boring, honestly. Like there was stuff going on. I watched it. It wasn't like so boring where I didn't watch it or I kept stopping. It was just like, okay, I kind of want to
yeah.
get through the end to this arc, because at this point I'm trying to get to you know what.
Yeah,
I want to see
yeah,
I want to see
yeah,
Frieza go off. I want to see
yeah,
Mewtwo. Like, what are we doing?
yeah, yeah. No, I get you. Yeah, it's definitely not one of the most memorable it was just a weird transition. I get
Hmm.
it. It was part of the story and it's
Yeah,
canon.
of course, of course.
Gotcha. But it needed to be a little bit longer. But finding
Shorter.
Kite, yeah, finding Kite leads us into our next arc, which is the Chimera Ant arc.
Mm.
Now, this arc was fantastic. I mean, we get the moments we have been waiting for. So we get introduced to Kite. Kite
Mm.
is the one who is responsible for kind of using Jing's name. This is like the longest fucking game of hide and seek with your deadbeat dad I've ever seen in my life.
Mm.
But he is essentially looking for his dad. He ends up running into Kite. Kite is an investigator right now as a hunter, and he works for a group who investigates not just natural disasters, but like things in the wild. He's kind of like an anthropologist or
Mm.
like a I would say a cryptozoologist, which essentially goes after creatures who are just weird and strange or
Yeah.
maybe don't exist, things like that. And that's what cryptozoologists are. And so he finds out that there is a chimera ant breakout, where these chimera ants or these ants that are mutated into different creatures, different forms, are breaking out. And he's looking for the queen that is creating these monstrosities, these snatching people, which I don't think we find out till like later in the thing, but she's snatching kids, snatching adults to turn them into chimera ants,
Mm.
which are monsters. So we get Kite, we get the whole idea. Gon and Killua are now trying to work with Kite to kind of help him while also searching for his dad. Um, and then we get the moment where Kite ends up running into well, not necessarily running into, but he ends up getting meeting Pito, Neferu Pito, which is a guy. I don't want to hear it from none of y'all. Apparently, it's a whole guy.
That's a
I know
man. I'm a
it's a
man,
man.
Damon.
It's a man. That yeah, it's ma'am, but it's actually man.
Mm.
But ends up running into Neferpito, and at this point, Gon has formed a really strong bond with Kite during their whole investigation process, and Pito ends up killing Kite. Pito ends up killing Kite, and Gon is bloodlusted for the rest of the arc. Just pure bloodlusted.
Mm.
I think the first moment we really get to see that is when Gon is up against the guy with the smoke, who ends up saying like, Gon, if you can land a hit on me or if you can hurt me at any way, I'll let you come out on this mission
Mhm.
to go find Kite's killers, things like that. And Gon is just the lines on the dark face, and he's about to do the hardest rock paper scissors he's ever done in his whole life.
My boy.
And they're like, yeah, stop, yo,
Wait, 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 wait,
yeah,
wait, wait.
wait,
Wait a minute, wait a
wait. Yeah,
minute.
Killua steps in and he's like, "No, Gon, chill the fuck out." And they're like, "All right, yeah, this dude was about to kill me,
Be
so
at ease, my
he's
nigga.
able to go." All right, so and then we pretty much get Gon, Killua, and the pretty much the crew that Kite was working with
Mhm.
going off to find these ants. Meanwhile, during this whole expedition to go find where Pito is, the one that killed him, we end up getting the queen inventing, or I guess birthing, Miriam. And Miriam is our big bad of this arc. And Miriam ends up creating other different chimera ants that are intelligent. They can speak, they can talk, they can, they're pretty much the lieutenants or the generals of the chimera ant army. And we get kind of like their backstory. We get the chimera ants going off to villages, snatching little kids to turn them into ants. We get kind of like a day in the life of a chimera ant. Like we see them born and we see them how they interact during the thing. Miriam and a couple of the other ants, like the lieutenants, talk to them to see who's the more intelligent of them, and then makes them higher in the ranks.
Mm.
We get the queen pretty much talking to Miriam, and like Miriam is like he's like the chosen one to lead the ants onto a revolution to destroy the whole world. This and that, so on and so forth. We finally get to the culminating event where where Gon finally finds where the chimera ants are, where he finds out where Pito is, and at this same time, Netero is going off to fight. Netero and the grandfather end up going. Grandfather of the Zoldycks go and find Miriam. Miriam is in the room. Gon shows up. We get one of the hardest, like the most petty scenes of all of Hunter x Hunter is when Gon finally pulls up and he's sitting there just bloodlusted, and Netero tells Miriam, "Yo, let's take this outside.
Mm.
Like, let's throw hands at let's scrap in the street." And they're walking by, and he sees Gon, and he just like points back. He's like,
Yeah, he in
"She's
there.
in, he in, yo, he in there, he in there." And then we get the I kind of skip past this part, but Miriam ends up um not really falling in love with, but being very interested in a blind little girl. He gets very interested
He
in.
fell in love with
Yeah,
the
okay,
blind
he
girl.
found. Yeah, so this
In his
blind girl,
defense, he's only a few days old or
he
a
is a
few
few
weeks
days old,
old. So
but he ends up being very interested in this little girl because she's not afraid of him. She's also beating him in. They're not playing a
every
Pai show,
game,
right? They're
every game.
playing chess, right? They're playing all kinds of games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're playing all kinds of games, and he's surprised that this little girl is so powerful. And she also puts her life on the line, things like that. And I believe, if I remember correctly, I think she's is she dying? I think she's dying, right? She's already dying
She's
because
no, she was good. She's only dying because of radiation poisoning, but we'll get
no,
there.
from Miriam.
Yeah,
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 from Miriam. Well, we get to the point where the Netero fight is about to begin with Miriam. Gon is finally found Pito, and he's coming in Pito. Killua now found where Gon is because Gon just left the troop. He said, "I'm going off on my own." Killua's doing Godspeed to get to Gon. He's trying to find where Gon is because he knows something bad is about to happen. He gets there, sees that Pito is doing like some healing type magic, or doing the surgery.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
She's doing like the little surgery with her little fingers or whatever on the little girl that Miriam is more or less, I guess, in love with. And Gon sits there and delivers some of the hardest lines you've ever heard in Hunter x Hunter, where she's like, "Please just give me a minute, give me some, show me mercy, like let me heal her for a little bit longer, and then we can fight." So, or I say she, but he is like, give me a little bit. And he's like, "Did you show Kite mercy? Like, did you show, this and that? Like, so he just sits there, just like he has that whole hard scene where his
Mm.
like hands up on his knee, just like staring daggers, and he's just like, I forget exactly what made him say this. You got to give me the verbiage, but she says something about like, in 2 minutes, if you don't get up, I'm gonna kill her. And we're like, Gon, you're the good guy. Gon, what is wrong?
Oh,
You're a
because
good
she
guy.
he kept on saying, "Oh, he needed more time," and
Yeah,
Gon was like,
no,
"Bro, you already finished. Like I realized when you finished a
yeah,
long time ago. You got 2 minutes to get the fuck up, or I'm killing
yeah,
the girl."
yeah. You got 30 seconds, or you and her are getting ass whooping. Both of
Wrap
y'all.
it up, because he was
Wrap
gonna
it,
kill
wrap.
that girl. He was about to kill that
Yeah,
girl too.
his face, his whole like demeanor, and like he had that demon, like that whole demon art start showing up on the back of him, and it was
Mm.
just like, if you don't move, if you don't get up, I'm gonna kill the girl. I'm gonna kill her. And Pito was just like, it's like, you did, hey,
Pizza was
big dog.
legitimately afraid. I mean,
Pito,
probably more afraid for the little girl at that point because he still thought that he could beat Gon until Gon
yeah,
had to
yeah,
show him that that's not about to happen.
yeah,
So he didn't want Gon to kill the girl, and that's probably what
because he was afraid of Miriam.
Hmm.
Yeah, because he was afraid that if Gon killed the girl and I let it happen,
Yeah.
even if I beat Gon, Miriam's probably gonna win his fight, so he's gonna come back and kill me because
Mm.
I let the girl die. So, but she still, I mean, I keep saying she,
It's okay. It's all
but
right.
he was still looking at Gon and like, holy fuck, like this motherfucker's here,
So
like
you're
he's serious.
serious? Okay.
He's supposed to be a good guy. Like, this is crazy. So Pito finally gets off his ass
Mm.
and goes to fight Gon, and we get the Gon versus Killua fight, or Gon versus Killua, Gon versus Pito fight, and some of the best, some of the best just bloodlusted fighting I have seen in a long time. We get this man literally. This man disrespects Pito.
Mm.
I think this is more disrespectful than the shovel. Honestly, like the shovel's pretty disrespectful, but we get a point where Gon ends up having to use a Nen condition to reach his full and maximum potential.
Mm.
Something he knows that would kind of like a Baryon. If you think about it, like a Baryon mode type shit,
Mm.
like this would
Exactly.
kill you if you use this. This will kill you, but you can use it.
Mm.
So he uses his to reach his max and full potential that he would ever reach as a hunter, becomes a grown-up version of himself at peak level, and just starts beating Pito's ass. At one point, he rips Pito's arm off, stabs him with his own arm, begins to beat him with his own arm, and just fucks Pito up and just starts
Mm.
pounding face, face, face. But then we finally get Gon about to unleash one of the nastiest Kamehamehas we've ever seen in anime history, and then Killua shows up and ruins it. But Killua shows up, he says, Gon, like stop, like you can't do this. This will kill you. Because Killua knows, right? Like he's
He
not stupid.
didn't ruin shit. Pito's
And
face was ruined. Like
yeah, Pito.
Killua showed up after probably 10 minutes
Killua,
of Gon just bah,
but Kill,
like
but
repeated.
Killua saved Pito's life. Killua
Did
literally saved
Pito
Pito's life.
live?
Yeah, Pito lived, bro. Pito ended up dying, but Gon didn't kill Pito in that fight. Pito was still alive,
I mean,
and
after
right
the
as he
10
was,
minutes of Pito's body's
I mean,
limbs just flopping every time he got hit,
but yeah, right
Pito
after,
lived?
yeah, oh, I'm
Damn.
sure,
Well, the healing.
right after, because Gon was about to deliver that final blow. Remember, he was standing there with his hand back,
Yeah.
and then Killua showed up, and Gon turns around and he's crying. And I'm gonna ask you a question here in a minute about this, but so he ends up doing that. Killua saves him. Gon kind of goes back to his normal self, but then he passes out because obviously the condition is you fucking die if you don't fucking if you use this condition. Then we transition over to the Netero and Miriam fight. I mean, this is when two gods collide at this point. I mean, this is probably, if not top three fights in all of Hunter x Hunter. We get Netero's 8 trigrams, 64 palms. He uses the Buddha hands to start slapping Miriam around. Um, but I believe Miriam ends up using, was it the radiation? Something about that. Miriam ends up using so Netero ends up sacrificing himself to kill Miriam. And he ends up using this explosive technique to blow up Miriam or something like that. And he doesn't realize that he ends up dying and Miriam is still standing there, but Miriam doesn't realize that the technique he used affect him atomically.
Yeah.
Like it affected him, like his nen or something was like radioactive or poisoned, and it affected him atomically, so it was going to kill him regardless. Like it was his last stand battle against Miriam, and so we got that whole thing, and then Miriam ends up going back to play chess because I believe the little girl survived from the surgery, and then Miriam ends up going back to the little girl to play his last game with her as he's dying, and she ends up dying with him because of the radiation that's on Miriam from Netero's explosion. And so they end up dying together pretty much. And then we wrap that arc up with pretty much Killua with Gon trying to take him back or bring him back to their main base and main headquarters essentially.
Yeah.
This is a whole S. Like to me, this is a S. It's not super high because the only big things are like the Killua fight or not Killua, the Gon fight and the Miriam fight. But I believe to me there was a lot of like unnecessary world building in the Chimera ants that I was like, why do I need to know this shit? Like they're all gonna die. Like well after I mean hindsight's 2020, right? So when I finished the arc, I'm like, why the fuck did I need to know those people?
So
You know what I'm saying?
much went on there. I think there was like one scene where they dude was in the elevator, like one of the ants who decided to be a traitor was in the elevator and he was trying to hide from the wolf. It was like what the lobster ant. It was like there was just so much going on in this arc. Like I really want to give it an S, but it's just so much.
It's
It
low.
was
It's
so
low.
long.
I give it a high A though. I can settle at a high A.
I can give it a high A. Like, don't get me wrong. Okay, Netero versus Miriam. It was a good fight. Was it an amazing fight?
No.
No. I mean, he was throwing
Definitely top three
hands.
though.
Hands
Yeah.
was being thrown, but at the
Yeah.
end of the day, it was just fly swatter, fly swatter, fly swatter, come back, fly swatter, fly swatter. One of the best fights in Hunter x Hunter. One of the best fights in anime. No, we just was looking forward to this.
Yeah.
What we were looking forward to most, the best fight in Hunter x Hunter, was the Gon versus Pito fight, and it was a washing, and it's definitely what makes it this one of the best arcs. But is it
Yeah.
the best arc? Is it top 5 arcs? No, because we were all just waiting
Yeah.
to get to that. Let's be real here. 50% of the people who watch Hunter x Hunter and finish Hunter x Hunter watched it because they were either told about this or they saw clips of this or they read something about this and they wanted to get to this. No one saw it. No one started watching Hunter x Hunter because they saw Killua was riding his skateboard down the alleyway. It just that just wasn't the case. So Even high A is hard because I want to give it an S because I mean, it was the culmination of everything, and it was the reason why people watched the show. So to have three shows above it is really weird. But even after watching it, I just was like, damn, that was the Chimera arc, and then it was followed
Yeah,
up with a bullshit arc after
yeah,
that. It kind of killed it for me. It wasn't as hype as I expected it to be,
yeah.
so I'm going to give it a high A.
Okay,
I'm
all
settling
right.
on it.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm there with you. Well, the next, I mean, you call it a bullshit arc, but the last and final arc that we're gonna cover is the 13th Hunter Chairman election arc. But really, it should just be the Save Gon arc,
Mm,
because nothing else was memorable except for the saving of Gon. Now, previously in another arc, and I forgot what arc it was, we ended up finding out that Killua has a sister, and her name is Nanika, but or sorry, her name is Aluka, but she has a alternate personality named Nanika.
mm,
Now, Aluka and Nanika are entity. Well, Aluka's the actual girl, and Nanika is an entity that lives within Aluka, and her sister, or his sister, is wrapped up in a room because of her special abilities and powers. She's like something that is sought after by many people because she has the ability to grant wishes.
mm.
Her wish granting is a little confusing on how it works, but essentially, you have to fulfill three of Aluka's requests. Once Nanika, the requests can be anything. We've seen her request somebody pull your nail off, like pull one of your nails off,
Mm.
kill that person, or kill yourself. Like, I mean, it could be literally fucking anything. And each request, every time you make a wish of Nanika, the next request for Aluka gets worse. So like if
Depending on how
Nanika
big it
just
is, yeah.
yeah, if Nanika just granted a wish to somebody, the next person to try to get Aluka to bring Nanika out, those three that she requests, are going to be worse than the last ones, and then worse and worse and worse, and then it starts over again to like the easy ones, and then it gets worse and worse and worse. So
Mm.
that's pretty much how I understand it. There are some conditions to it, which I have them pulled up here because these conditions were only explained by Killua one time in the show.
Mm.
But it says if someone fails to fulfill Aluka's request and gets killed, the difficulty of the level of Aluka's request returns to level one.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get killed trying to accomplish one of her requests, then the requests get easier again. So it starts back over again. And that's the best time to make a wish, is when somebody dies from trying to get a wish from Nanika. If Alika is making a request from a particular person, they cannot be moved to another person midway. Therefore, if the particular person disappears, such as concealing themselves, Alika is unable to make requests to anybody else. So if that person just never completes that task and just vanishes, nobody can do it until that person dies or makes a request. If the person fulfilling a request dies midway, it will count as a failure, and at least one more person will die. So if you die, somebody else randomly dies as well. That's probably a part of it. Alika cannot make requests of someone without knowing their name, and then the same person cannot ask Alika for consecutive wishes. And the whole idea and the reason why I bring this up is because Gon is in critical condition. This motherfucker's about to die.
Yeah.
So Kila was deciding to use Aluka and Nanika to make a request of her to bring to heal Gon back up and to make him his former self again. The only difference is Anika and or Aluka and Nanika love Killua. They
Mm-hmm.
love Killua. They have the strongest connection with Killua. So the request they make of Killua is like nothing. It's like spin in a circle.
Yeah, he was
Do
he
a
was the exception to the rule. Like that was like the
yeah.
biggest plot
Mm-hmm.
twist. Killua didn't have to follow the rules.
Yeah, no, he pretty much the one deciding factor was the fact that they didn't care what he did. They tell him like do a handstand. It didn't matter where in the request process or where in the wish
Mm.
making process she was. They would never hurt Killua
Because they
because
loved him.
Killua always looked after them, always treated them both the same. Because people
Mm.
would treat Nanika like a monster and never talk to Aluka, but he treated them both the same. He always went in and played with them. He always tried to hang out with them. So that's kind of like being friends with the school
This
weirdo. You
cool
know what I'm saying?
shit. No,
You know what I'm saying?
no.
Like,
Hey, just
yeah,
let me know, bro.
don't come to school tomorrow.
Don't come to school
Um,
tomorrow.
don't come to school tomorrow.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
Okay.
like,
Okay.
but so we end up kind of getting this whole montage of Killua going back, breaking into his household to break Aluka out because Nanika only shows up once the requests are made. Um, when that happens, Killua pretty much ends up getting into his family car. The butler ends up driving him and Nanika out, but then Illumi starts attacking. Illumi doesn't want the wish to be made from Aluka or Nanika. Nanika's the not evil one, but she's the one that with the powers. He doesn't want the wish to be made, so he ends up attacking Killua, blowing up the car, and then we finally get to see Killua at Godspeed. We get to see Killua's final Godspeed carrying Nanika to where Gon is in the hospital, essentially, and we kind of get the whole. This is where we get the backstory, where we start. Killua starts talking about Nanika's abilities, the requests, pretty much what I just said. He goes over the whole synopsis of her whole life story, things like that. And we get to a point where she essentially she comes in and heals Gon. She ends up fulfilling the request because the wishes that she makes of Killua are like, "Tell me you love me," and he's like, "I love you." Do a handstand. Handstand done. Spin around 3 times, like like because she's not gonna hurt Killua, and he knows that. That's why he's like, I'm gonna go grab her. You know what I'm saying? So, she ends up healing them. Now, some of the more uninteresting but like unmemorable parts is Leorio is about to be the next chairman of the Hunter organization.
Yeah,
I mean,
he almost ended up being the chairman. Like
yeah, like
he was like right there.
yeah. So, that's pretty much why it's called the 13th chairman. Like it should probably just be called like the Gon retrieval arc. You know what I'm saying? Like, or the Nanika retrieval arc or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like the whole Gon, like the whole Nanika, and obviously we got Killua's like fastest speed, fastest speed, but we got Killua getting in some fights, getting in some fighting, things like that. But this arc to me, this
You
is
said all
this a
that. What we
this a
doing?
B. This
It's
a
a
B.
B. Whoo! All
That's
that
a
for a
high B
B.
though.
High B.
It's not. It's not. It's under. It's under. It's under. Greed Island because Greed Island at least had a bunch of like. It had a bunch of like action. It was action packed. It had fighting. It had some some good stuff in it. Some good information for the world. You know what I'm saying? But it's probably between Hunter Exam and Greed Island.
This arc was what we would call a transition arc.
Oh yeah.
The problem was the anime stopped. I don't know
Yeah, we didn't get
if they
anything after it.
knew it was going to stop. The manga stopped. Obviously, they didn't
Yeah.
know the manga was going to stop, and it stopped for years. And it came back, and then it stopped for another year, and it
Because
came
the
back
creator was
again.
sick, right? Yeah.
He's a sick guy. Um, so I'm sure they meant to continue on to at least the
Yeah.
next arc, but it just ended on a transition arc. We don't even talk about the fact that Gon finally meets his dad at this arc,
Oh yeah.
which
Yeah.
that's cool. Like, and it
Yeah.
meant absolutely nothing. He talked to him for a little bit, and then he was back with Killua
Yeah.
after all of it. This arc was just. It
This
just felt like
is
we just needed to do this arc. We had to close up the whole storyline with what happened
yeah.
with Gon. We had to finish up the fact that he hadn't met his father yet. Netero died during the Chimera arc, so we had to
Yeah.
get a new chairman, and we got to meet the one dude, the blonde haired guy, who was a piece of shit and who was trying to manipulate the whole situation. Like, it was a decent transition arc as a transition arc, but as an arc in an arc review, you're right. It's definitely a B. It's not as
him
good as
meeting.
Chimera. I don't even think it's as good as the intro arc. It was an
That's fine.
outro arc. We had the intro.
We
This
we
was the
got
outro.
we got like him meeting his dad is the equivalent of Naruto not even really becoming Hokage because he couldn't get there.
I mean, at
Like it was
least
just
he met his
it was
dad in the anime.
it was
Naruto didn't become the
lackluster.
Hage in the anime.
Yeah, it was so lackluster and just like it was like, oh, he's like, hey dad, and he's like, what's up, kiddo? Like you didn't just leave me on this fucking, 2 year, which I know it's not that long, but like this yearly long journey to come find you when you literally have been watching. He said, oh, I've been watching you and following you this whole time. Like, huh, bro? You couldn't have said what's up. I'm your kid.
And then
Like,
Gon's dumbass is like, oh, okay.
yeah, cool.
That
And he's like,
gay?
so
You knew? Oh.
he said, so we can hang out together, right? He's like, nah, I got
No.
shit to do.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
We don't do that here.
Nah. I mean, I know I've said I've been doing this for you the whole time, but I ride solo, nigga. Like,
I'm trying to make you a main character. We
yeah,
can't do this.
I can't have fatherly moments with you
You think-
if you want to be a main character.
You think
Like, I can't.
NBA All Stars are good with their dads?
Yeah.
No, no. I want
I
to
was
meet you
either
at
going to
the
turn
end
you
of the
into a
finish line.
villain or the strongest hunter.
You're
So
either going to be a villain or the hero of the
yeah,
story.
yeah.
I'm
There's no
happy
in
it worked
between.
out this way.
Yeah,
Question mark.
there's no in between.
Even though I saw
So
clips of that fight with Netero, we're not. I mean, with Pito, I'm not sure if you're the hero. Not quite
yeah,
sure. But
he's going
no,
to kill. He's going.
it's an outro. It's not a C. I mean, is it a C? No, it's not a C.
No, no.
Because I don't think they meant to end it with this. It does
Yeah,
wrap up Gon's story.
yeah.
Um, it wraps up Gon's story and
Mm,
it wraps up Killua's story, and we are able to move on to the next arc. For the
yeah,
end of this arc, it's cool. B. I'll give it a B.
yeah, yeah. I give you that. I give you that. All right, everybody. I mean, give us grace. Put it in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Like,
People really love
okay,
Hunter x Hunter.
we do. They do, and we got no A's, which is really split to me, and it's actually kind of surprising that there's like one A, three S's, and three B's. So is your anime that good?
I mean,
Um,
one or maybe two of those S's probably could have been A's, but
so here's if it was more balanced, you know what I'm saying? Two of those S's could have been A's to some people, but if this is what we're both going off of, and of course this is all IMO, right? This is all in our
of
opinion.
course.
You know what I'm saying? But like this doesn't seem balanced to me. You have really mid arcs and really good arcs. There's no in between. We have maybe one in between.
Okay.
Um,
Mid. Okay. Yeah,
yeah,
it's up and down. It's not like
it's
I
a
was thinking
weird.
maybe there was a certain
Yeah,
point where we had all the hot arcs, but no, it's just
no, it's very inconsistent. I still like Hunter x Hunter. Don't
yeah,
get me
of
wrong. It's
course,
still a really good
it's a
show.
classic.
I mean, let us know how you feel down in the comments. We are going to be doing a part two where we are going to be ranking some of the main characters in Hunter x Hunter, kind of in the same kind of tier list. Go a lot faster. So be sure you check out that video, which should be dropping after this one. But we appreciate you guys. Remember, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, ring the notification bells. If you don't like what we put here, tell us what you don't like. All right, I mean, I know we're gonna have some Hunter when we put that thumbnail up and it says ranking Hunter x Hunter. For some reason I feel like this one's probably gonna pop off,
People got
right?
something to
So
say.
people always
After
got
seeing
something to say.
this,
I'm
people
surprised
got something to
the
say.
Naruto one kind of went off a little bit, but like I feel like Hunter x Hunter, I don't know, Hunter x Hunter's got some people got a lot to say
Hunter x
about Hunter x
Hunter
Hunter.
mid? Question mark?
My hero, Hunter x Hunter, mate. Yeah, that's gonna be our title. We should definitely make that clickbait.
Oh
That's all we
man,
gotta do is clickbait. Um, but I mean, when we do My Hero, that one's probably gonna it's gonna be bad.
for you. I mean, my hero is decent.
Uh,
Anyway, we'll get there when we
anywho,
get there.
yeah, well, we'll get there when we get there. But we appreciate everybody. We love you. Peace out.
Peace.